Everybody, here we are again, and we are a mile high, maybe for the last time, or at least for a few years, rumor has it. And I got a guest that I've been dying to get to know better. I've slowly got to get to know him better because I got to line up against him, and he's been pushing us every time we race him. Chad Green, who you know, drives Tim Wilkerson's car. Quiet dude. I was a big fan of his when he ran Pro Mod, and then he came over here and he's starting to show us the business now. So we are going to have some great barbecue. Don't worry, I'm going to get to some good questions here. Right. I can see you're ready. He's from Texas. We're going to get more into that. But Piggin Out Smokehouse, right here in Morrison, close. Piggin Out. See, Piggin Out Smokehouse. There you go. You got 2 mentions. This place is awesome. And again, we started this whole series because you want to know where our teams go, what the best barbecue, what the best place to eat, what the best bars, whatever it might be in whatever area we go to race. So this is what we found this year. And then I get to grab a guest, and it worked out perfect that Chad just got back from vacation. We all got a couple weeks off after Norwalk, and some of us don't get vacations anymore as team owners, and some guys get to go to Cabo and hang out, and that's what we're going to find out more about. So welcome.
Thank you.
Don't get nervous. This is just low key. We're just going to BS, and I want people at home to get to know Chad Green a little bit better. I don't know if you're up for that or not.
For sure.
You're a quiet dude. Like when I got to know you, you just kind of go about your business, and I mean, it seems like you're one of those guys. When you get to know you, then it's all good.
Yeah.
Judging from your videos from Cabo.
Okay.
But you just seem like have you always been that way? You're kind of a quiet.
Yeah, I'm a pretty low key guy. I mean, definitely I have my moments though.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Yeah, you seem like you let go's pretty.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. First of all, okay, so I've been a huge fan when you ran Pro Mod. I grew up in California. A lot of our fans, if you're not in that Pro Mod scene, especially the South and some of the areas there where I have found out through racing NHRA just how deep the roots are in Pro Mod. And so it is brutal. Some of the Pro Mod stuff and the cars and the runs and just all the stuff that came out. I used to watch you and your cars. I knew when you had a new car being built or somebody said you had a new one coming, it was going to be badass. And they always were. So have you always been somebody that, first, let me back up. Mm-hmm. What was your first drag racing car you ever had?
My first drag racing car was a Top Sportsman car. Yeah.
So you grew up in Texas?
I grew up in Texas.
Still live there?
Still live in Texas, Midland, Odessa.
Midland, Odessa, oil country?
Oil country. I'm in the oil service business.
That's the other question. Bond code.
Bond code.
On your car. That's in the oil business.
That's correct. So bond code, what we do is we put a protective coating on the casing that goes downhole. So, in certain areas where I live in the Permian Basin, which is the largest oil producing area in the country, they have this problem where there's some, 2,000 to 3,000 foot aquifers in the ground where they run the pipe through. And if they don't do something to protect that pipe, it'll eat holes in it. Then they'll get water in their well bore. Then they'll get water mixed in with the oil, and they have to pay to take it out of the oil, basically.
Wow. So something like your dad do it? Were you in the business growing up?
This is something that I actually developed in the early 2000s.
Were you an oil worker? You were out there in the fields and you saw that and then said, I know how to fix that?
I was in business for myself. We were doing something a little bit different, a little different application of coating. And I kept getting phone calls of, do you have a product for this? And after about 3 or 4 of those, because I was struggling during this time of my life, after a few of those, I said, I'm not going to say no again. I got to make it. There's a need for something here, obviously. So that's kind of where it all began.
Were you already drag racing or into racing?
I was not drag racing at that time. So how I got into drag racing, and this is a good story. I'm glad you asked me this. So, I grew up always loving racing, race dirt bikes, BMX bikes, love cars, fast cars. I didn't grow up in a drag racing family. My dad didn't drag race, but I was always attracted to, cool stuff like that. I was in my early 20s when I went to my first NHRA national event.
Which was where?
In Ennis.
Ennis.
And I saw you race there.
Oh, man.
Yes, definitely saw you race. This is back during the Copenhagen days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Copenhagen girls. Remember the Copenhagen girls?
You, John Force. And I mean, honestly, I've been wanting to tell you this for a long time, but you're one of the guys that like inspire me. You know, I never thought I would be a funny car driver. That wasn't in my brain. But after I went to that first race, it became a goal of mine to one day have a race car and race it down the racetrack. So it took probably fast forward like 15 years before I was able to fulfill that dream where I could get my business, where I could, afford it basically.
Yeah.
And, I was raising a family, all that stuff. But yeah, it was a long-term goal and finally got to fulfill
Top
it.
sportsman, then what went pro mod? Like you went to a
Well,
race and saw one, like the funny
No,
car?
I mean, when I started racing top sportsman, I had a nitrous car and I got involved with Pat Musey.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of,
It's a good person to be involved with.
yeah, it kind of grew from there. And, went from there to racing pro mod and PDRA. And then finally came over here to NHRA. And when I came over here, Pat actually came and was my crew chief for a couple of years. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, Pat Musey was my crew chief. So, yeah, we had some good success. And,
Yeah. So pro mod, still kind of maybe someday I want to be a funny car.
I mean, I still have my pro mods. I have 2 pro mods right now.
So they're just sitting.
They're just sitting. I get to look at them every day.
When was the last time you ran them?
At the World Series of Pro Mod in the beginning of this year.
Wow.
So yeah, I kind of set one up for 8th mile racing.
Yeah.
If I ever have the opportunity.
Because people home to understand, like in a funny car, you hit the gas, and it cracks me up. You, Alex Laughlin, these guys come from the door cars, and we don't do a whole lot in the cars, right? I mean, you stage, you got to process, but it's like when I've had altercations with drivers at the other end that hang you out. It's like there's not a whole lot you do. So if somebody's hanging you out, it's because they wanted to hang you out. Like you pull a fuel pump, you let your foot off the clutch, right? You do more than that in a pro mod car before you even do the burnout. I mean,
yeah, I mean, they're a lot more complicated, a lot more steps, in your procedure, and with me in the nitrous car, you got your whole purge.
Yeah. So first run this last time, would you
No.
get in there and or did it come right back to you?
Came right back to me, and plus we had a couple days of testing
Yeah.
before that. But yeah, it came right back to me. I love driving the pro mod. I always say, the actual driving part of funny cars is definitely more difficult to drive, but a pro mod's easier to crash.
Yeah. Well, my crew guys nicknamed pro mod slide bys.
Yeah.
You probably heard that before, and I didn't know, they kept saying it in my pit area. And we were at Norwalk one year up against the track, and they said slide by. It's like, what are you guys talking about? And they said every time one comes by, it's upside down and sliding by
on its lid.
Yeah. God, those cars, man. Someday I'd like to make a hit in one and just maybe go 8th mile.
Just let me know when you're ready.
They look insanely awesome.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so let's dig in. Rack of ribs.
All right.
I'm gonna give you a little bit. We'll keep BSing.
All right.
Some ends here. Looks like tri-tip. This place is about 15 minutes from the track.
Looks
Something
awesome.
Like that. Yeah. And we're just gonna use our hands. I'm not even gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
It's just you and I here. You and I and a few people watching at home. So, kids, family, kids.
Yes. So, married, have 2 grown kids. My son Hunter, he's 28, and he races in.
I was going to ask that. Is he out here?
He's not out here this weekend, but he races alcohol dragster.
Oh, wow.
Randy Meyer.
Oh, yeah. I did see your post something on that.
And I have a daughter that's 26, and she's actually gotten her super gas license, and she's interested in racing too. So I don't know, you might see her in the future.
That's
we'll
cool.
see.
My daughter's 28. We put her in a junior, and then we got her super comp license, and the instructor was blown away. Girls always seem to do better, right? I don't know about yours, but the instructor was like, dude, you need to put her in a car. She is super talented.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think she'd do
My
well.
daughter actually did better than my son in the super gas class. And I don't know, I'm not really supposed to say anything about this, but a couple of weeks ago, I actually went with my daughter, Lexi. We was at Frank Holly's, and she hit the gas in the funny car a few times.
Oh.
Yeah.
The alcohol car?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So that was
cool.
pretty cool.
She's probably beaming right now.
She's
probably ready for the next step.
Oh, definitely.
Frank is the best. I tell people all the time. Larry Dixon
Yes.
and I, when Snake, I drove for Snake, we would go sit in the classroom, in the back of the classroom, and I would learn. I tell people all the time, sit in the back of that classroom, and it'll blow your mind how much you think you don't know.
I've been through it 3 times now because myself and then with each of my kids, and you learn.
When he goes into the whole eyesight thing,
you learn something
isn't it
every
crazy?
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So full season, right? With both
Oh,
of
yeah.
them?
Yeah. Actually, so I got to correct you
Mm-mm.
because you keep saying I'm driving Wilkerson's other car. I actually own that team.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah. So I own the team, and Daniel, he works for me full time.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I've got Daniel, and
Is that an old Wilkerson car?
no, that's a new car that I had built.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who
My
built that?
backup is an old Wilkerson car. Murph.
See, I bet I'm not the only one that thought that.
Probably not. I think a lot of people think that, but yeah, I mean, I own the team. It's been an experience for sure. It's a growing experience. We put it together. I mean, 3 years ago, I ran 2 races. We didn't really have a team then. Then the next year, I ran 8 races.
I remember, yeah.
And I ran my pro mod. I still run my pro mod. Then last year, we actually ran 18 races.
Yeah.
And really put the team together last year, and it started coming around. So I've got Daniel there plus 5 full-time guys working at the shop.
I did not know that.
And then
That's
I've
cool.
got like 3 flying guys.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
man, you guys are on it this year, and I could tell the last couple of years. We'd run next to each other in qualifying or sometimes race day, and I could see your frustration like a couple of years ago. You were like, man, you wouldn't say anything, but I could tell it. And I wanted to say, you just got to get out here more. Like, you just need more runs, not just you, but the team, right?
definitely.
Because this weird stuff would happen on your car, and it's like, you just need runs. And just like you and I, it helps to get runs. The guys on the team need runs to get used to what they're doing.
Definitely.
But I knew once you were full-time, and then, man, your car, I joke with Wilkerson all the time that your car's way better than his most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's just consistently good. And you've been tough, man.
Well, it's helped this year. Being able to win rounds, it's helped for my guys. They've got the practice of getting to go through the car on race day. We've gone to the semifinals quite a few times this year, so they've got
the first Mission Foods win was cool. Everybody was so happy for you, man. It was like an Earnhardt moment.
That was
you could have walked through the pit area, and everybody was just ecstatic, man. It was cool.
Yeah, that was really awesome. So, I mean, it's success kind of breeds success with these guys. That we started winning some rounds. I could see my guys on the team, their confidence building at every race, building, and it's been like a snowball effect. So it's been really great.
I like watching Daniel. He's like spaz up there.
Yeah, he is.
But he's so fun. He's got so much energy.
Daniel's really coming to his own.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's cool. So I know I asked you if you're a spicy guy. What? Because this looks spicy. I don't know what the hell.
Oh, but this is some spicy sauce right
here.
See,
I didn't go. He went spicy because he's from Texas and he's a big burly dude, and I went the California way and went with the sweet pineapple. But this looks spicy. What is this?
Jerk.
It's not. Oh,
jerk.
All right, I'll go there.
It's Jamaican.
Jamaican jerks. You probably just went to Jamaica too, didn't you?
No.
So we got mac and cheese. Place looks killer, and it is so far. Let's get a rib. Did you get a rib yet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did. All right. And so, full time, you think you're gonna hang around funny car for a while, or like
definitely
on your learning curve, you're gonna be doing jet cars or something weird?
Oh no, definitely a funny car. When I was racing pro mod, I went to Holly School, and I drove the alcohol cars and got my license, all that, and it's kind of a funny story how I got involved in nitro funny car. I was over in the Middle East. This is years back, like 2015, 16, somewhere in there. And I was over in the Middle East, and it was during the winter, and they had the pro mod racing over there in the off season. So I was in Bahrain. There was a pro mod race going on, and I had some friends that were there racing, and I was there for one night. And I was like, I really need to go to the racetrack and say hi, And I really didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
I made myself, I said, I got to go. So I went out there and I met a bunch of people, and I came back, and I had this odd, like a week later, this odd voicemail on my phone. And I didn't check it the first day. I checked it the second day. It's from California. I don't know anybody in California. But actually, it's a voicemail from John Force.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it was right at the time when he hired Proc from Schumacher.
Oh, yeah.
And he had an extra team.
Oh, yeah.
But only for a few days.
Yeah.
But he had an extra team. And he was like hot looking for somebody to help him put this extra team together. And he talked to somebody, I guess they thought I was this big oil guy with an had all these millions of dollars. So he called me, and I was like, actually, no, that's a little over my head. I can't.
Yeah, you're half right.
I can't do that. But I said,
did you save the voicemail?
I did.
I got like 5 of them on my phone from Forrest, and people
It's
would
like 2 or 3 minutes long.
Oh,
I said, I got to save this.
He is the best. Yeah, I saved mine too. Sorry, John, but we had to do it.
So anyway, I was like, but is there any way you could like help me get my license? And he said, well, no, I can't do that. But you know, Tim, he does that. I'll call him. And so he called Tim and vouched for me, actually, and that's kind of how it all began. But I got my licenses back in 2017, I think, and I drove Tim's car for a couple of days every year at the Phoenix test session.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Just wanting to, you know, get runs. You know, my goal is maybe eventually I might get to drive one of these things, but I wanted to, you know, get some runs before I just showed up and made a fool out of myself.
How about the first time you stepped on the gas, like the first hit?
That was pretty crazy. And what was crazy?
How far to go?
I think
you go enough for the clutch to start to come in.
I think I went 200 or 300 feet.
Yeah, it's right. Isn't it crazy? It just
yes.
That first hit, and then you think, oh my God!
You just don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And what was crazy with me is because I was at the Phoenix test session, and I'm in the staging lanes in line with like all the badass pros, you know, John Forrest, and I'm like, oh shit.
This is really happening.
Yeah, and the thing about these cars, it's hard to go do it and not be in front of people. You know,
yeah,
you can't
go
test somewhere. And
yep.
So yeah, I remember Tim came up to me when I was strapped in the car, and he looked at me. He was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "If you want to get out, nobody will think you're a pussy."
I did the first time. I unbuckled and got out. I go, I need a moment. This is good. I thought I was ready. I just give me a minute, and then I got strapped back in.
Yeah, so I was like, no, I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah.
But,
wow, that's cool.
It was all good.
Well, shoot, man, I'm glad you took the time. It's hard to read you when you don't. I've gotten to know you a little bit better, and you just you've been a breath of fresh air for everybody. I know the fans love you at home, and I hate racing you, but I love having you out next to us and racing with us on the tour. So looking forward to more matchups, maybe for a championship. Who knows down the road?
Me too. I'm looking for more because they're like the only guy here I haven't been able to beat yet.
Oh, great. I just jinxed myself. Well, thanks, man.
Hey, thank you, Ron. Thanks for having me.
There you go. We learned all kinds of new stuff. A lot of stuff I didn't even know. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Chad Green, thanks for barbecue and giving us a reason to eat some good stuff.
Definitely.
And we'll see you guys in a week. It's Seattle and then Sonoma. We got some good surprises coming up. And maybe end of the year, we'll get a group together and do this in Pomona, maybe a bunch of us, and do it on a Thursday where we can have a beer with our barbecue, huh?
That sounds good.
So we'll see you guys next week.